Hello everyone, I'm CoolGuy, welcome back, and today Bungie was on the Inside Xbox show on the main stage talking about Shadowkeep. It was Ben Womack and Deej. And man, to me, Bungie being on the Xbox main stage just felt right. They talked about a couple things about Shadowkeep, they showed off the moon map, some activities, they showed off finishers, but I want to talk about the hunter exotic that was shown, the Assassin's Cowl. Even though we got a glimpse, we can break it down and speculate a little bit on what it does and make some educated guesses. The exotic states defeating a guardian with a melee attack or a combatant with a finisher grants invisibility and restores a portion of health and shields. First things first, we ask the question, is this a neutral exotic? Meaning, can it be used on any subclass, or is it going to be subclass specific? The perk states it grants invisibility, and invisibility is tied to the Void Hunter, but they kind of answered that question. It appears to be a neutral exotic. In two separate clips, it shows an Arc Strider performing a finisher and then goes invisible after it's complete, and then in a second screen, they show a Void Hunter with it on. We put two and two together, it looks like a neutral exotic. But how good will it be though? We can kind of break it down. For the perk to work, it looks like it does not require a charged melee, meaning that it can be from any melee. Melee and enemy, go invis, get a health and shield bump, and in the clip, the hunter does the finishing move and it doesn't take the charge. Historically, the perk will state it on the exotic like Kepri Sting, punching someone with full melee energy instantly grants smoke bomb. So it didn't say anything about a full melee charge. I immediately thought about a couple things. This is tied to your melee, and when you think melee, you think about Top Tree Arc Strider. Top Tree has combination flow. Killing an enemy with this melee ability triggers health regen and increases your melee damage temporarily. So the node itself grants melee regeneration. The exotic perk on Assassin's Cowl restores a portion of health and shields. If this is the case, these two things working together are kind of like pre-nerf Wormhusk. Instant health regeneration and a health chunk coming back. That's going to be very good for PvE and PvP. And after all that's done, after you get your regen and your health chunk, you're now invisible. Not to mention combination flow gives you more melee damage, stacks up to 3 times. We'll have to wait and see, but you're going to be a melee machine, getting health on all those kills. But again, it's going to be depending on if it's going to be tied to a melee charge. Like I said, historically it states that. Time's going to tell, but we can speculate a little bit more. If this is a neutral exotic, is it going to be tying the melee charge to a gunslinger's throwing knife? Imagine getting those long-range throwing knife kills, getting health back, and going invisible. That's something I would run in PvE and PvP, and you're able to do it from a distance. And then of course the Night Stalker smoke bomb. But it comes to the question, will this be a viable option for PvE? And I think the answer is yes, it's going to be good. Think about harder activities, think day one raid. There's going to be ads everywhere, you can get a melee off on them, you're going to get health back, and they're going to go invisible to recover even more. That's a good trait to have, and back in Destiny 1, the invisible hunter was the medic, and this exotic brings that back to the hunter. And let's really think back, think about the lamps in the Crota raid back in Destiny 1. There was an exotic called Don't Touch Me's. When you got melee'd, you go invisible. In that area, there was tons of thrall, tons of enemies. The Don't Touch Me hunter went through that area no problem and was depended on in early raid clears. The Assassin's Cowl is doing the same thing, but this time you will be the one proccing invisibility. So to think that, well, Wormhusk kind of does the same thing that the Assassin's Cowl does, that it's going to be a bad PvE exotic, you aren't really looking at it situationally and what you can do with these. I think it'll be a very good PvE pick, but again, it all depends on how it works with your melee charge. Granted, with a hunter, you can dodge next to your enemies, get that charge back, but even then, I think it'll be a good option. With how finishers are going to be introduced, you're going to be going for those, and that adds another layer to these. You'll go invis, get your health right back after those finishers. I'm excited for them. In PvP, we're going to have to wait and see how much health you get, and it's going to work well with an aggressive playstyle, knee slide shotgun, things like that. The best part is going to be your health and immediately going invisible after your kill. That's invaluable. It's almost like they took some of the best qualities from Kepri Sting, Don't Touch Me's, and Wormhusk, combined them all into one to make this crazy exotic. Then you add in things like throwing knives, smoke bomb, Tempest Strike. There's a lot to test, there's a lot to look forward to, there's a lot of potential possibilities. And with all that being said, again, pure speculation, but it's still fun to break down. And by looking at what we saw in the short clips, we can make some small assumptions, but ultimately we're gonna have to wait and see when it comes out, but it looks like a solid exotic that has multiple uses. They showed off the artifact a little bit, they showed off the moon directory. I don't have all the footage, they just released a new trailer showing the Monte Carlo. That adds to the Assassin's Cowl a little bit more if it does require a charged melee. And the Monte Carlo is gonna be good for getting uptime for things like Melting Point for you Titans. It's gonna have a place and it isn't really niche like it was back in Destiny 1. There was a little bit more, but I don't want to keep you guys. It was a short segment that Bungie had on Inside Xbox. I mostly wanted to walk down the rabbit hole with Assassin's Cowl. That exotic excites me. But what do you guys think? Let's speculate a little bit and talk about it in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button. If you are subscribed, remember to like and comment if you guys and gals see fit. Thank you guys for watching, and until the next one, I'm CoolGuy.